we've mentioned to you some of the growing outreach at Ligonier Ministries, and just a few minutes ago I was able to share with some friends of the ministry of our growing international outreach. Some of you who aren't that familiar with Ligonier's work, maybe you've heard a radio broadcast or a podcast, or you've seen a YouTube video, and somehow you've found your way into Ligonier's communications so that you're actually here for this event. Allow me just a moment to let you a little bit in on just what the Lord is doing, not just through Ligonier, but just through the church around the world. We can be discouraged when we consider if the foundations are destroyed, what will the righteous do? And we've been exhorting you all to that end of encouraging you to stand firm and trust and look to the Lord. And we can be discouraged when we look around these United States. We can be discouraged when we look in some of the other countries of Europe and places like that and seeing, where is the testimony of the truth? We know that the church is going to endure and the church is going to be, in one sense, just fine. The Lord's always promised to care for his people. But there are pockets around the world, and really in increasing measure, large areas where the church is growing rapidly, not just numerically, but in interest in the historic Christian faith. We're seeing tremendous growth in South America. There's an appetite for Reformed theology down there that really I don't think any generation has seen. You're talking about an area where the Reformation never went. There were missionaries, there were pockets, again, of beachheads that were forged, but really over the past 15 years, there's been an explosion of interest in the historic Christian faith throughout Spanish-speaking Caribbean countries, Central America, but throughout South America as well, Spanish and Portuguese with Brazil. And so what we're riding right now is a bit of a wave of what the Holy Spirit is doing. And we've been able to send thousands of Reformation study Bibles to pastors and church leaders around the world. I was telling another gentleman yesterday, the reason that we did the 2015 update to the Reformation Study Bible and reworked it, got some refreshed biblical scholarship and archaeological data and really updated the study Bible. We wanted to certainly do that for your benefit in English, but we wanted to then take that work and translate it into multiple languages, Spanish being one. Burke Parsons, he was down in Colombia, I think it might have been 2006, 2007, and he was teaching pastors and working with pastors. And what he observed there was there was this group of, a handful of pastors, they had one study Bible. It wasn't a Reformation study Bible, it was a different study Bible, but they would pass it around week to week and prepare a month's worth of sermons as they shared this one study Bible. They didn't have a theological library. And I still remember him coming back, telling Dr. Sproul, telling me, we need the Reformation Study Bible in Spanish, but before we do that, let's update it and really make sure that it's the best study Bible we can produce. And so that's why we did the work to be able to issue the 2015 study Bible. And so now that study Bible is going out in Spanish, Korean, German, and Portuguese. But wait, there's more. Right now, underway is the French edition and the Arabic edition. So, what we're thinking is this resource can become really a milestone resource for God's people when you think about a continent like Africa, where English, Spanish, Portuguese, French, and Arabic are really the primary languages or the secondary languages spoken by close to 1 billion souls. So you're looking at the largest population growth in the world is happening in Africa, but it's also the growth of global Christianity and the gravitational center for global Christianity is largely African. They are now, and if it hasn't exactly happened just yet, but within the next decade, most missiologists believe that the African church will be the largest missionary sending church in the world. And so there are pockets of good teaching in Africa, but African church leaders, they're the ones telling us that the Christianity here is 10,000 miles wide and an inch deep. So how does this affect you? What kind of missionaries are coming here, are coming to your town? And so we feel great urgency to be able to serve these church leaders who care about good theology, to be able to get them a resource like the Reformation Study Bible. So we launched a campaign called Study Bibles for Africa, and the goal is a modest one for now. It's to get 100,000 study Bibles distributed to church leaders, seminarians, pastors, Bible college students, denominational officials throughout Africa by 2028. We've now distributed about 38,000 copies towards that goal. But that's why we're undertaking a project like a French edition and an Arabic edition. These are major world languages, of course, but when you think regionally, it's a strategic focus for us. And really, I think for all of us at the church to be able to think about how we can serve our brothers and sisters around the world so that they're not having to pass around a Bible between them, and they could have a theological library in one volume. That's just a glimpse of one of the efforts that we have at the ministry. We have decades of faithful teaching that Dr. Sproul created, that we've added to, that we're continuing to add to with other trusted teachers. And we're striving to be working either in a daily or weekly way in the world's top 20 languages, because that'll cover about 80% of the world's population. Yeah, we're excited with reaching 57 million people. But with 8 billion souls on the planet, I think we all know there's a lot of work to do. And so we work diligently, humbly, trusting the Lord. And I really think about the work that we do in our global outreach as setting out little stacks of kindling around the world and just praying that the Holy Spirit would come along and cause fire to break out, the fire of His truth, and that churches would grow up and be planted and be strengthened. And we're not trying to lift up the name of R.C. Sproul or Ligonier Ministries. We're not all that important in the grand scheme of things. What we're hoping and praying for is that there will be native speakers who will be the next R.C. Sprouls in their language. And we're not looking for the next R.C. Sproul. We're looking for 10,000 R.C. Sprouls in these other places around the world, because we need them. We need to hear from them. We need to be taught by them. And so this is our moment in time. I don't know how long that's going to be, several decades, 100 years, I don't know. But let's do whatever we can together. And thank you for your partnership with us. It's a little glimpse of what ministry partners get to experience by partnering with us. You participate in that work, so thank you to that end.